Welcome to week 3 of Tonto's Demise podcast. I'm Detonator's Tonto Bull 6 champ with my sidekick Detling. Detling, introduce yourself, boy.
Detling's not here. This is McCoy's homeboys. This is the real co-host.
Yes, I forgot. Detling is out of the country.
All the way from Village Lane in Pottstown, Pennsylvania.
This is my favorite week of the year because it's the week that Detling is not here. And so, Jay, first of all, welcome back to the show.
Oh, thanks for having me. Thanks for having me, Brian. And I'm pretty sure it's everyone's favorite week of the year, not just yours. I mean, anyone who gets a treat, a week away from Detling's parents when he was a kid probably like, when can we get rid of this kid for a couple of weeks? That was their vacation.
They're like, can't we send him to his aunt and uncle in Pittsburgh for a week?
Every summer was a staycation at the Detling household.
So, Jay, I don't know if you remember this or not, but over the summer you were actually awarded with the Demise for Podcaster of the Year. Did you hear that?
I'd heard something about that, which, I don't know if it's deserved. I definitely deserve a better award than what Detling would have received, but I don't know about Podcaster of the Year. That's pretty lofty, and I'm honored. I got to tell you, I'm honored.
Well, your modesty will probably get you a second-time Demise, I can tell you that.
So Jay, I appreciate that.
So, Jay, where are you right now? Like, what's your surroundings? What's going on?
Well, when last we podcast together, I was in my basement last October, and it wasn't great. The accommodations weren't great, but I did have a do in hand, and this year I am in a vacant house for the most part. Right now, if you hear that faint echo in the background, that's actually my voice bouncing off a television. Right now I'm in a room, my living room, formerly known as my living room. It's just a television, a disc chair, and a laptop. Oh, and a can of Dew. It's still got a can of Dew. Same Dew I had last year, actually. I saved the second half for this year's podcast.
So is this a fantasy strategy of yours to eliminate every possible distraction and only keep what you need to, thrive in fantasy football?
Well, it's partially that, and then it's partially family has left me for a period of time, and this is the only place I have to live. So it's mostly the fantasy thing, and then secondary shelter. The shelter's definitely, it's like 75 fantasy, 25 shelter.
Well, since we're podcasting during the game, the Thursday night game, Atlanta versus Tampa Bay, right?
Yep, that's right. There's 10:15 left in the first quarter. A flag has just been called in the kickoff return.
Feel free to give us play-by-play updates. I'm not actually watching the game. I'm just sitting in my bedroom with my laptop. So
it's nice.
So that's what's going on here. It's cozy. So
you have better accommodations, I'm sure.
Yeah. Oh, absolutely. I have a bed. I'm sitting on the nice cover here. I got multiple pillows, so we're good to go.
Multiple pillows. The entire sum total of my seating in this house that's not porcelain is essentially just the one pillow on this dish chair.
Well, I'm sorry to hear that, sir.
Yeah, it's a floral pattern. It's not great.
Well, we're happy to hear you, and we're going to have a great show.
Yeah, I can't wait.
Trade time!
Trading guys! Excellent!
Woo! All right, I don't think that was synced up at all, but it's probably going to sound really awful.
Probably better that way.
Probably. So anyways, just before the 8 o'clock game started tonight, Jags responded to my trade proposal. My proposal was Andre Johnson and Donald Brown for Eddie Lacy. And I told him I'd also offer up other running backs. He countered at 7:30 with Steven Jackson and and Andre Johnson for Eddie Lacy, and I immediately accepted. And, so this is the first trade of the year, and it's a pretty big one because, it gives him some more wide receiver depth, and it gives me, hopefully, a decent running back. So what's your take?
Now, so Gags traded his first-round pick to you 3 weeks into the season?
Yeah, 2 weeks if you want to. There's only 2 weeks, so, yeah.
2 weeks played, right. True.
Yeah.
So I was thinking, because we're not really sure about his background prior to fry cooking, could it be possible that he's conducting some sort of long-range psychological some testing, or maybe some more appropriately some sociological testing based on fantasy football as a whole? Do you think it's possible that he's obviously a fantasy guru. He won our league last year, picking a kicker in like the 8th round or whatever, and then this year he's intentionally tanking his team so he loses every single week. He wants to see the highs. He wants to see the lows. He wants to know good trash talk, bad trash talk. He wants to hear it all. He wants to know what's beyond fry cook trash talk. He's a genius as far as I'm concerned. Even if he goes 0-16 or whatever league.
0-13.
Yeah. 0-13. I just think I think actually 0-13 is as much of a feat as 13-0. Do you think that's an angle he could be working here?
It very well could be. I'm not going to say that it's a horrible trade right now because I'm not trying to fleece anyone. And by all means, Eddie Lacy could have a crap season all year, and Steven Jackson and Andre Johnson could blow up. But it is kind of crazy trading away your top guy 2 weeks in. And maybe he is trying to feel what it feels like to be in the basement, which we know all too well. I'm not going to speak for you, but I definitely know what the basement's all about.
Well, I did podcasts from the basement last year, so I know a thing or two about basements, how to keep them dry, how not to keep them dry, and that's also a thing that Mike knows about because when he's pretending that he's not, when he's pretending he's not fry cooking, he also pretends that he does flood and fire recovery for a job. So right now he's sitting in 12th place, so he's sitting in the basement. He's up against Detling, who somehow is in first place thus far, so it's a 12 versus 1 situation we're looking at here. Let's just review Gag's team though, because he has half of a penal colony on this team of his.
He does.
Wes Welker, who knows? Wes Welker's he's probably tweaking out in some alley right now. Ray Rice already dropped him. He last week he had I think he had Delaney Walker on the bench last week, and he had 1,000 points. So Doug Martin, he's out. And Bolton, he's 59 years old. Matt Asiata's got a better chance as I thought he was kind of bred. Isn't Asiata kind of bred?
It is.
It is. Matt Asiata, he should work at Panera. He shouldn't be a running back in the National Football League. He's got a 4'9" white guy starting in his flex position, Danny Woodhead. Things are bleak.
All right. Well, let's save that part for this week's matchups because it's not going to be pretty. It's not going to be pretty.
It's not going to be pretty at all. Pretty's not the word.
So, anyways, we will find out immediately what's going to become of this trade as this podcast is going on. So far, I see Steven Jackson has 15 yards.
Oh, check that. Steven Jackson now has 28 yards rushing.
Oh, I had to refresh my browser.
You refresh away, my friend. He's got 2.8 points in the bank. Currently, he's leading 2.8-0.
All right. Well, time will tell on who wins this trade, but I think it could be even, but I'm feeling pretty good about it.
All right.
Oh no, he didn't. So we got a couple things that we need to bring up here. First one is with
get
Doug
off our
C.
chest, right?
Yeah, get it off our chest right now. Doug C, who's going up against Tree, which, By the way, Tree's team is so obliterated right now. There's no need to pour salt in his wound. Like, there's no need for any trash talk whatsoever. But anyways, Dub C says, people mocked my pick of the Houston D. Of course we did. This week, I'm predicting 2 TDs for them, 1 pick six, 1 fumble recovery for a TD, and a safety. I mean, this is like Babe Ruth calling a shot times 2, maybe times 3. I think this is insane, and nothing good will come from it. What do you think?
Yeah, this kid thinks he's Nostradamus or something like that. You know, I'd have a better. I'll give you a prediction. Next year's draft, Dub C, some sort of Western, Pearl Snaps, top 3 buttons unbuttoned. There's a prediction you can count on.
You're calling his wardrobe.
I'm calling his wardrobe. I'll tell you who just did score a defense. This is real time, folks. Atlanta's defense just scored a defensive touchdown, picking off McCown. Atlanta now up 21-0.
Yes, that's 3 kicker points for me. 3 kicker points.
21-0, 2 minutes and 38 seconds left in the first quarter.
All right. So, anything else about Dub C?
No. He's unexcusable. It's unexcusable.
Yes, unexcusable. Well, the other one we want to bring up is with somebody we were picking on last week, and he goes by the name of Josh Hayward, a.k.a. Eileen Cuts Hair, a.k.a. Huber's Homeboys. What do you have to say about this, Jay?
No, I'm pissed off about this. That's what I got to say. There are so many issues at hand right now. So I don't even know where to start. Let's start with his name from last week, Eileen Cuts Hair. First off, I don't understand it at all. It's basically a definitive statement, but I think he's trying for it to mean something else, something insidious, if you will. And I got to tell you, I have a real mother. I've got an actual mother-in-law by law. That's the in-law part. And then I've got a third mother. Her name is Eileen Volchko. And you do not piss around with Eileen Volchko. That's right. That's rule number 1. You know, this kid should never even get to have another one of Mama Volchko's chocolate chip cookies ever again. Ever again, just for the fact that he might have been implying something with his declarative statement name.
I can make sure that happens. I can guarantee he will never eat another chocolate chip cookie.
I'm glad you've got a direct pipeline there. And tell Craigers not to remotely burn any discs or anything for Josh as well. Just because of the whole Eileen Cuts Hair thing.
He's out of the family.
He's out of the family. He's out of the family. He's out of the family like Aunt Barb kicks people out of group pictures.
That's true. You know that all too well.
I know that all too well.
So let's get back to his new team name.
Okay. Huber's Homeboys.
Yeah.
Okay.
Huber's Homeboys. So my biggest thing about this is the grammar. You know, I teach school. I might teach math, but I know that when you want to keep something plural, you don't put an apostrophe before the S. You just don't even use an apostrophe. So
yeah, he's got plurality all over this thing. Possession all over this thing. Who's possessing who? Yeah,
Huber's Homeboys. You got one homeboy possessing something. And it ain't a good fantasy football team, am I right?
That's true. I'll tell you what else it is. It's not aesthetically pleasing. Look at McCoy's Homeboys. First off, Chuck D, black and white, beautiful. Second off, caps locked, genius. And this kid's got 2 apostrophes, only 2 capital letters. It's a mess. It's an absolute mess. And then, on top of that, he's been in the league for 14 seasons now, and he's still got the gold helmet. Look, Josh, what I want you to do is just look at the landscape of matchups. Everybody has customized their image. Some of them are terrible. Dub C's, I don't know what the crap that is. Jimmy's is amazing. The Rooks, I'm not sure what's going on there. Yuma Puddin', the picture doesn't coincide with the name. I don't care. At least they're trying. You got the gold helmet over here. You look like a freaking JV team.
and even Kavicic, he's got Kid Rock. Kid Rock, I despise him, but he's better than a gold helmet. Come
on.
Yeah,
I hate Kid Rock too, but yeah, it's better than the gold helmet. Even whatever Kid Rock's doing there, I'm not sure what's going on, but he's probably up to no good, but it's still better than that helmet.
All right. Do you think you got it all out?
Well, I mean, we'll see. Maybe something later.
Yeah, save it for Sunday and Monday. Save it for the field.
Yeah, true. We'll take it to the field. Oh, and Josh, your team, McCoy's Homeboys will come to any restaurant that you want us to patronize, but don't expect us to leave a tip, because McCoy's Homeboys, as you know, just like the real Sean McCoy, we don't tip.
That's right. 20%, maybe like 0.03% of the tip, right?
0.02%. How we do.
All right, podcast fans, we actually have an incredible interview for this week. I can't believe we got him. We got him right here, not in the studio, but over the phone. Let's welcome in the manager of McCoy's Homeboys.
Hey, Brian, nice to be here. I'm actually waving to absolutely nobody in my living room right now, as though I was famous, but I'm not.
Well, thanks for coming on the show on such short notice, man.
Yeah, great to be here. I was designing clinical trial labels only 3 short hours ago, and now I'm here in my living room talking to you.
Well, Jay, we'll kind of keep it brief because it sounds like you're really busy. So,
incredibly busy.
First question is, and it's what everybody has on their mind. Who is the real Huber Slayer? And will the real Huber Slayer please stand up?
Well, I don't know where Detling is currently. I know globally, I think where is he in Greenland?
He's either in Iceland or Germany at this point.
He's in Iceland or Germany. Well, I don't know if he's standing up, but he probably should be, because apparently he is the real Huber Slayer. I don't want to admit it, but I can't say otherwise. I think he actually is the real Huber Slayer. I can't tell you how much I actually like him in reality, and then in the spreadsheet universe of fantasy football, how much I actually hate him.
Well, let me ask you this question, and I appreciate that you've actually chosen a Huber Slayer, and I'm sure he'll love to hear it once he gets back, but Craig Kubicek would argue otherwise. Just this past week, he pointed out that he should be the real Huber Slayer since he slayed Jimmy in the semifinals, and he slayed you in the finals a few years ago. So what do you think about that?
Nah, I think his is more luck. I think his is more luck and that intimidating stare he does. But Dets is just straight up slaying goodness. I mean, there's really no reason Dets team should be excelling right now, and they are. They just are. So no matter what, I was scheduled to beat that kid by like 30 points week 1. Somehow he flipped the script on me. Tony Romo craps the bed, and he beats me by 30. So it doesn't matter. He actually crushed my confidence like for the last time, and then I'll get to play him twice this year because I played him week 1. So. You know.
Well, let's stop talking about him because he's going to get a huge head once he actually gets back and listens to this. He's going to be so excited that you've finally confirmed his Huber Slayer status.
Yeah. Well, I do know that I'm a much better podcaster than him, though, so I take credit. I take solace in that.
Absolutely. How many demises does he have?
He's terrible.
Zero.
He's terrible. And I haven't made one racist remark in like my entire life. I'm over 34 and a half years on racist remarks. That kid can't get through the first segment.
34 seconds.
34 seconds.
All right, Jay, next question. During our little preview podcast, we ranked your best and worst picks. We said that your best pick was McCoy, and your worst pick was, who did we say?
You said it was Hakeem Nicks.
Hakeem Nicks. So, what's your thoughts on that?
Well, I think you might have been a little bit quick to pull the trigger on good old Hakeem Nicks. Right now, Yahoo is projecting him at 6.23 points for the week, which I think is pretty haughty numbers. And he's He's also got this little tidbit. Says, coming off a one-catch minus 4-yard performance, Nix is a middling wide receiver 4. So, I mean,
middling.
They're saying he's got a chance. They're saying the door's not closed on Hakeem Nicks. And
wow.
I'd like to think Hakeem Nicks is one of my better choices, actually.
Wow. And so you're not going to trade him anytime soon?
No, I might let him go at some point in time, but I will not. I don't think anybody's going to trade for him. But more out of respect to me for the pick, and less out of his crappiness. And then my best pick, thus far, I'd say my best pick was probably Arian Foster. Everybody was telling me he was terrible and washed up, but here I sit on the floor next to my disc chair, and I got two of the only running backs worth of salt thus far in the NFL, LaShawn McCoy and Arian Foster.
This is true.
DeMarco Murray's having a pretty killer go of it right now too, but I like my chances. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, I mean, and you might have heard me say it. I really do think you had the best draft this year. However,
yeah, I
after
really
the first
appreciated
couple of weeks,
too.
yeah, and I stand by that. But now that this is actually playing out, some people are criticizing your team, namely me, that you might be a little weak at quarterback. I mean, you drafted Tony. Oh no, like this guy doesn't have a chance to go anywhere. They're giving DeMarco Murray like 40 carries a game just so Romo doesn't have to throw the ball. Are you going to stick with this guy?
Well, I did make a really poor move by dropping Kirk Cousins early, and then Craig snatched him up, and I'm pretty salty about that. I really am rethinking the whole Romo thing. I thought going in that it was an amazing pick, that he was still there, that he was going to have to throw the ball like 700 times this year. He's thrown the ball 7 times or so in the first 2 games. So that strategy has not worked out for me. But if he gets his sea legs under him, watch out. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah.
If they really start needing him to throw the football, I think it's going to be a different story.
And what about your boy Pierre Thomas, man? Where's he been?
Pierre Thomas?
Yeah,
he's been in New Orleans. I'm not sure. He's been in New Orleans. He's all right. He's all right. First week got me 13.
Non-existent.
First week
man.
got me 13. Don't get all jumpy on it. And not to mention the fact that what's his face, Mark Ingram just busted his hands, so it's going to open up. I'm not really worried about the carries, but the reception market's really what I'm looking for Pierre Thomas.
All right.
Great name, too, Pierre Thomas.
Great name.
Yeah.
So I got a couple more questions for you. Who do you predict will actually win the league this year?
Besides me, well, let me see.
Only one. There can be only one.
Oh, it's a Highlander situation is what we're dealing with right now. It's going to be me or my brother. It's going to be one of the two.
You're saying it's going to be A. Huber.
It's going to be A. Huber, and we're going to have to take out at least one Slayer. Again, with the Highlander situation, we're going to have to take out at least one Slayer, maybe 2 Slayers to get there.
So wait, you're saying it's going to be Huber, so it could be Huber's homeboys with an apostrophe. Homeboys.
I don't know. I'd have to talk to Josh about exactly how many apostrophes, how few apostrophes, and I guarantee we'll have a better icon.
Who do you think will be bringing home the Cleveland Browns pin for the worst manager of the year?
Cleveland Browns pin. Right now, it's hard to say. Right now, it's actually I could win the championship, and I could also win worst manager of the year for dropping Kirk Cousins before I even gave him a chance. Especially if that ends up working out for Craig. Right now, based on, current position, I'd say worst manager, probably Jeffrey. Probably you would put. He's putting his guys in a tight spot just with that team name, first off. And then, I mean, he's really not he's not sending much out there on the field. He's got Jay Cutler. He's got Jay Cutler as
first
quarterback.
person.
He's terrible.
Yeah, you're the first person to say it's not true.
He's starting Trent Richardson.
Yeah,
his team name should just be, I'm starting Trent Richardson.
All right. Well, I think that's about all the time we have. If you do win the championship, where are you going to have the draft?
I think I'm going to have the draft at the Windber Hotel, probably.
Nice. I'm holding you to that.
Well, actually, maybe Denny's Beer Barrel Pub, Clearfield, Pennsylvania. Denny's Beer Barrel Pub wouldn't be a bad idea, Clearfield, Pennsylvania. We could share a 14-pound hamburger.
That's true. A meatloaf.
A meatloaf of hamburger.
All right, Jay. I know you're really busy there in your little studio apartment, so I'm going to let you go and let you get back to the game.
All right.
All right. Good luck to you, sir.
Thank you, sir.
This week's matchups. The first matchup of the week might be the most pathetic, but then again, it's going to be the closest. We've got the Springfield Isotopes versus Nick Foley and Dynamite, and I said it's the most pathetic matchup just to get under Craig's skin. Hopefully it works. So, Jay, what do you think?
I think that you probably did get under Craig's skin a little bit just now. First off, yeah, I don't know if it's that pathetic, but it is very even. I'm sure Craig is somewhat bitter about the fact that he's ranked as a underdog, 48% to 52%. And looking at it though, I feel like Craig's team, aside from Craig's running backs, mind you, he's still got LeGarrette Blount in a starting role. He is a bit of a sleeping giant over here. He is a bit of China over here. Matthew Stafford against Nick Foles. Nick Foles should have had about 500 yards passing on Monday Night Football. I am obviously a Philadelphia Eagles fan. He missed Jeremy Maclin on 12 bombs in that one game. So I don't know what's going on long term there. His yardage is just going to be based on volume. It's a pretty straight up matchup though. Both their running backs suck. Both their wide receiving cores are pretty solid. Obviously the edge has to go in the tight end department to Nick Foley. I mean, he's got Graham and Gronkowski, the double Gers, Graham and Gronkowski. And then Craig's got Niall Davis. Niall Davis, almost as cool as Miles Davis over here as in his running back, his flex position, and he had a big week last week, so that looks good too. And then Steve Smith Sr., I know we're giving him a hard time, but he's been getting it done to a much greater extent than Torrey Smith has in Baltimore. So I think it may end up coming down to something as silly as the defense is right now. Craig's scheduled to get 17 points against for his New England defense against Oakland, and Denver is scheduled to get 11.45 against Seattle. So, they're pretty much even across the board. Little favorite, obviously, in the tight end and flex position to Nick Foley, slight edge in the wide out positions, just because Jeffrey was a bit banged up and stuff last week to Craig, and then a slight edge in the quarterbacks to Craig. So we'll see. I think it's going to be a pretty good matchup, and if not, a boring one.
Well, I'd say that was better analysis than Detling's cumulative analysis over the last 2 years. So first of all, you won that part of the matchup, and second of all, I would have to agree with you on most of what you had to say there, and I think the edge is going to go to the Isotopes, mainly because of the defense and the quarterback. I think Stafford and New England get this one done. And, now Davis in the flex, he's projected for 15, but we'll probably get somewhere in the 20s. So
Okay.
Other than Blunt, you know, he's got a pretty solid lineup. I hate to say it, but he's probably going to get his first win of the year.
Yeah. Yeah, if he can win with Blunt in there, I mean, that's just a testament to his underdog status.
Oh, I thought you meant how high he was.
Well, oh, nice. Yeah. That's a zinger.
Yeah, I hope that he. I hope Craig keeps him in there the entire year, just to spite me, you know, and
just to see how high he can get in the standing.
Yes, nice. All right, so Craig, we're behind you this week, buddy. Next matchup, we have Possum Magic, who is literally limping into this matchup. Okay, they're not literally limping because, like, it's just a fantasy team, but they're in fantasy terms limping into this matchup versus the Dub C Hooligans, who are claiming that their Houston D is going to score 55 points. And I think just because Dub C is being so arrogant about his defense, because people mocked him, I guess, at the draft, I'm going to go Possum Magic all the way. You know, I'm going to take this infirmary, this emergency room of a team, and I'm going to predict that they win. And for no other reason than, I want to see the kid get a win, get out of the basement. What do you say, Jay?
I'd love to see this kid get a win this week. I love possums. Most people don't like possums. I think they're great. And, Tree has had he has in the past, we have, maybe used the term, whiner a bit, but this year, it's just constant guys going down. And I think it's time for him. I think all three of his wideouts have, underperformed a bit thus far. Larry Fitzgerald, Keenan Allen, and Kelvin Benjamin. And I think it's time for one of them, at least, to go a little bit nutso. I think Peyton's projected point total against Seattle's defense, 52.51. That's a bit steep, I think, considering they manhandled him in the Super Bowl, but obviously they are going to take some notes from what happened to them in the Super Bowl and make some amendments. Dub C definitely has superior running backs, but I don't care because I've made up my mind, and Tree's going to win this one.
So right now,
in the face of overwhelming information that tells me to pick Dub C, I say no. I will pick Ryan Treesize.
And although it says Treesize is a 44% underdog, how do you feel about it, Jay?
I feel like he's a 100% favor in my heart and in yours as well.
That is true. All right, go ahead and get him, Tree.
Go Possum Magic. Our next matchup this week is the Huber Slayers versus the Rook. And so this looks like a classic David and Goliath meeting here thus far. 2-0, Debt scoring about 300 points a week. The Rook literally trying to score as few points per week as possible while keeping as much of his roster if not suspended, at least you potentially heading to jail. I smell a bit of a trap in the air, and this is a trap week, I should say. And I've got a pretty hefty head cold right now, so I can't smell a whole heck of a lot. So that's saying how much I smell this as a trap game for the Rook.
Wow.
I'm here, again, from the comforts of my living room. Currently, in the second quarter, Atlanta Falcons are leading 35-0 with 7 minutes and 8 seconds left to play. Vincent Jackson currently has 0.00 points. Now, I do understand that this may be a perfect opportunity for Vincent Jackson to have a ton of points the rest of this game, them being down by 35 and what have you. But I still smell the trap. Still not a big fan of Tom Brady, even if he is playing Oakland.
No.
Big fan of Megatron. Huge fan of his new SportsCenter commercial too, where he turns into a soda machine. Big fan of that.
No.
But not a fan of the rest of Det's lineup here. You're not a fan of Corn on the Cob. Alfred Morris against my Philly defense. I think we're going to step it up a little bit this week because we were a bit embarrassed. We were a bit embarrassed by the Colts' running attack success last week, and because I think if Nick Foles completes a couple more passes, we're going to be up huge, and the running game is going to be abandoned, which leads me to Deshaun Jackson on the other side of the ball. Going to have a lot to prove against the Eagles this week. I think he's going to want to go big time as much and as often as he possibly can. So I know that I really lambasted his team earlier, the Rooks team, but I'm going the Rook this week.
You know, mainly because I don't want to see Deli get his third win while he's over in Oktoberfest in freaking Germany. I'm definitely going to vote against him, and I want to surpass him for the first seed of the league.
Yeah. Yeah,
but I also
want
to. Oh, I can't wait! I can't wait till it happens. My prediction here is that not only for this week, but it's already happened. The first 2 weeks of the season, we've got an incredible Phillip Rivers, Antonio Gates connection. You know, everyone's talking about Matt Ryan to Julio Jones, but I think Rivers to Gates is going to be the one that blows everything out of the water this year.
Sure. So, tonight we're going to party like it's 2009. I mean, come on.
That's right. And I think even though I traded away Steven Jackson, he might actually get a touchdown since they have no reason to throw the ball. And
sure.
Andre Johnson, I really hated trading the guy because he's a beast, and he's been getting a solid 14 points every week without a touchdown. So this might be the week he goes off. It'll be bittersweet, but, anything to take down the Huber Slayer.
Anything.
By any means.
By any means. Any means necessary.
That's right. All right, let's go Rook.
Let's go Rook.
The next matchup, we have Yuma Puddin versus the Detonators. And, Jay, before we get into this, you're friends with Jeff, and do you have any idea with his team name, Yuma Puddin? What does that mean?
No, I have no idea. I'm more frightened by his team name than that hideous picture of Michael Myers, actually.
It's a really interesting combination.
There is quite a bit of juxtaposition between the names. like if you got a picture of Michael Myers, but then you make your team name or Yuma Puddin, it's just like Mikey Myers. Oh, that's my boy. That's my friend Mikey Myers. He's a card. He's a real card.
All right, well, even though that does frighten me, the combination, because I picture him saying Yuma Puddin before he kills me, I'm going to still have to go with myself on this one, and I'm hoping for a big game from Eddie Lacy, obviously. Made the big trade, and I'm hoping it'll pay off right away. I know Detroit's pretty good against the run, but I don't know. I'm just hoping Eddie Lacy pays off down the road. And right before we started reviewing this matchup, I just found out Mike Evans had his first reception for 36 yards. So I wasn't feeling great about
yarder.
it. Yeah, but now I'm feeling all right. His projection's still a little under 12.56, but if you can get to that 12 mark, I'll be happy.
Yeah,
and
just a shade, though.
Yeah, just a shade. Matt Bryant has 5 of his 7 points all on extra points within the first, quarter and a half. So I'm hoping for, maybe 6 more extra points and a field goal. Other than that, let me look at his side of the ball. I think, first of all, my side of the ball, I think Joyce Bell goes off this game. I think Carolina defense, as much as I hate to say it, is going to crush Pittsburgh because I think it's maybe their home opener. If not, I don't know. They're in Carolina. I think they're going to crush us, and it's going to be a bloodbath. On the other side of the ball, I'm not really scared of any of his receivers. Although I like Michael Floyd, he hasn't done anything. They don't have Carson Palmer over there anymore. Crabtree, all right. Victor Cruz. This kid's got a lot of stock in the Arizona-San Francisco game, so I'm sure he's going to be watching that game close. And the only player I'm afraid of right now is Trent Richardson. So, yeah, I'm a little bit worried. That was a joke.
That was a joke, yeah. That was me laughing.
All right, take it away, Jay.
Well, okay, so I'm just going to get it out. I'm not going to make you wait till the end. I'm going with you on this matchup.
Sweet.
I'm actually going with you as much for the fact that I think you're going to dominate as your consistent and perpetual hope in Joik Bell. I mean, every week was this is Joik Bell's week. This is Joik Bell's week. You love him so much.
I do.
And he keeps disappointing you, but you never leave. You never lose hope. You're like a Philadelphia sports fan over there in Pittsburgh. Like, I mean, no matter how much we love them, they keep letting us down, but we'll continue to love them more. But yeah, I mean, other than that, you like you said, up and down. Poor Jeffrey has about 14 people, like you said, in the Arizona San Fran game, and I hope those two teams don't have the same bye week, or he's going to have about 6 nulls in his roster that week. I don't know if you could possibly even have enough people on your bench to fill all the voids that'll be in his team's roster that week.
His team would be pudding, man.
His team would be pudding, and I'm not talking about $200 worth of pudding. Oh yeah, I'm talking about essentially like a pudding snack, like 50 cents kind of thing.
Yeah.
And I mean he does have Trent Richardson in his starting lineup. And I know he's really going on about like Trent Richardson last week or whatever, but he's got Trent Richardson in his starting lineup. So, I mean, there should be a highlight, there should be an asterisk next to that. There should be like a +5, like you get +5 points. Trent Richardson in your starting lineup should be a handicap. You should get +5 points. Whatever he gets, +5. Is what you should get for Trent Richardson on a weekly basis. I bet you Dan Bailey, his kicker, outscores Trent Richardson up and down all year. So, everybody else is. I like Frank Gore. Frank Gore was running for Congress. I'd vote for him, but that's about the only thing I like from what I'm seeing here. The Green Bay defense against Detroit. That's disgusting.
It is. All right. Well, then all signs point to detonators.
Yep, detonators by 40.
I love it. All right, I'll take that.
I'm going to say this is the pancake block of the week in our league.
Thank you.
Our next matchup is this week's winners, McCoy's Homeboys, versus this week's losers, Huber's Homeboys, 'S. And my analysis of this week is I'm going to score a lot of points, and Josh is going to score a few points. And that's I rest my case. That's it.
That's a very concise but consistent analysis. I mean, you predict the winners and the losers as you're introducing the teams, and then you follow up with a lot versus a little. So there's not much more to be said about this matchup. However, I'll go a little bit further, in depth. I like your squad minus Tony O'No because I think his projection of 41.68 points is way too high. I look at him coming in like 22, so about half of that. However, the good news for you is you're still going to crush Huber's Homeboy, 'S, and the pancake block of the week. And I hope this catches on. I think it will. But I think you are absolutely going to flatten these Homeboy, 'S. You got Monte Ball in the flex. I think it's a decent move, but C.J. Spiller's going to do nothing other than maybe return a kick, do something weird, and get a few points. I'm not really afraid of anything on this team. You got Seattle's D going against Denver. Normally, Seattle's D would scare you a little bit, but maybe Cam Newton versus Pittsburgh gets him a little bit of points, but when it's all said and done, I think Hakeem Nicks gets this one done for you.
Yep, me too. I might keep him in my starting lineup just because.
Are you actually putting him in there, or is that just for a laugh?
He's in my starting lineup right now because I believe so much in him.
Okay.
He's my Joik Bell, yo. He's my Joik Bell.
All right, then, so McCoy's homeboys all the way.
Jump of the week. New Gods Mad Titans versus FC Bahorak. So, Brian, we got a big-time matchup this week. Huge projected point totals across the board. We've got the all the football clubs of the globe against the rest of the universe, the bad guys of the entire universe.
Wow.
Yes, it's interplanetary. We have a real-time score update here as well. FC Bahorak, actually his projected point total is now almost 30 points higher than at the start of tonight's football game, because he is playing two guys, Matt Ryan and Julio Jones. And they so far have 55.1 points in the first half. The current yardage total in the game is 255 for Atlanta to 61 for Tampa Bay, and the score is 35-0. Things are looking bleak thus far for the New Gods Mad Titans. But here's the caveat to that. Matt Ryan is up 35-0. Sooner or later, he's either not going to continue to pass, or he's not even going to be playing in this game. Andrew Luck, I feel like this week is going to have a huge bounce-back week against Jacksonville. In the Eagles game, for whatever reason, they thought running, Trent Richardson was a great idea, and it hasn't been a great idea since his Alabama days. And I feel like they're going to loosen the reins a little bit on Andrew Luck. Going to have a big-time week. I think good old Demaryius Thomas has several bones to pick with some Seattle defenders. Hopefully he actually scores like 3 or 4 touchdowns against Richard Sherman, and that dude can finally shut up. For the love of God, that guy can finally shut up. And I think Jimmy's got some big things. Hopefully Bobby Rainey gets back into this game a little bit tonight. Thus far he has a fumble, a lost fumble in tonight's game, and he's not getting a whole lot of carries, them being down 35-0. So there are some things working against Jimmy. But we'll see how this goes. Judd has assembled quite a team over there. Again, Chris Johnson, the running back position, not a fan of that at all. Dennis Allen, middle school principal that he's running as his tight end, not a fan of that as well. That guy is not the end all be all. That's not an answer right there. So, I'm sorry, his name's not even Dennis Allen, it's Dwayne Allen.
Dwayne.
That's even more middle school principal-esque, don't you think?
Oh yes, absolutely.
Yeah. So, anywho, I think that Jimmy's got a shot, and I am biased. I'll tell you that. I think he's got a shot. I don't know who I think's going to win, but I'm going to say I'm voting for Jimmy.
All right, that was the best attempt at rooting Jimmy on, given the current stats that anyone could put together. So, I'd like to see Jimmy do well, too, and I just want to point out we've got 4th place Jimmy going up against 2nd place FC Bahorak, so someone is going to get their first loss, and somebody's going to be going 3-0. And at this given point in time, I would have to say FC Bahorak just based on the stats alone. And
right.
Jimmy, I hate to say it, but I heard Harry Douglas already came out of the game across the room when that happened. But at least you got your touchdown. You got a touchdown, almost 10 points, so you got to be happy with that. And one thing I'm worried about for you, though, is Colston. I mean, that guy was nowhere to be found last week, and, I mean, that was the first game he didn't get a catch in, 70-some games. So I hope he gets back on track for you. And Forte, I hope Forte shows up, too. I mean, it's hard to see Giovanni Bernard not in the flex, especially because Forte is not doing a lot, but that's a tough call either way, because somebody is going to probably go off. You just don't know who.
That hurts my heart, too, that whole Giovanni Bernard situation right there.
It does. But as much as I'd like to see Jimmy win, I don't think it's his week. I think FC Bahorak takes it down to go 3-0, and I predict that he jumps into first place because he's going to have more points than me, and I'll be in second place. That's just a small
nice,
prediction.
Nice.
Yeah.
I like how you worked your way back to your teammates.
In the fantasy world, it always comes back to your team, no matter what you're
That's
talking
a fantasy life right there. I can hear Elton John singing the theme song right now.
So, anyways, I think it's going to be an exciting week. I think we're going to have some interesting things play out. We could have some teams going down to 0-3, which would be really difficult to climb your way out of that basement. But we're going to have a few teams going 3-0. So, any final thoughts, Jay?
I just hope that everybody has a great week, and I hope I hope in reality that not too many stars get hurt again this week, and I'm hoping that nobody is beating up their girlfriends and or wives and or significant others this week, because it's a bad scene and it's not good in society, and it's not good for fantasy football. But more importantly, the society thing, it's definitely bad. It's bad to do.
It's definitely bad to do. And most fantasy football managers do not condone beating your wife, child, dog, hamster, whatever you have,
Yes, just stop hitting things, you guys. Only hit people on the football field. That's actually what you get paid to do. You're supposed to love people off the football field.
All right, well, Jay, I have to say you did it again. You knocked it out of the park. I don't know if Delling will have a job once he comes back. Or would you be willing to come back again?
Sure, I'd be willing to come back every single week. Leave Deadlining at the casino. Let him pick up a couple extra shifts. All
right, and I take it you're probably if you're going to be down there in Pottstown with only a TV and a chair and a laptop, you're not going to have much better to do anyway, right?
Yeah, true. That's true. Maybe next week I'll podcast from a bedroom upstairs.
Which has what, a bed?
Just a bed, yeah. And then the next week I'll podcast from either one of the other two rooms. There's absolutely nothing in those rooms.
All right.
There's not even blinds on the windows anymore.
I look forward to it. Well, good luck to you on your matchup, and have a good week, sir.
You too.
All right. Bye-bye.
Bye. Oh, geez. Jim, I'm so sorry, but it is now 35-0. Devin Hester has just left the game, and Matt Ryan is still throwing football.